All right, all right. Well, shit, years ago, you and I would have just been getting in from drinking.
It's exactly right. Exactly right. I kind of feel as though I have come back from drinking, but that's a different story altogether. But look, Chris, thanks for joining us here today on 50 Shades of Slaids here at the Rock Pit. But most importantly, welcome back to Australia. I mean, you guys are coming out for what is it, the sixth trip down under this October and November.
Yeah, so we were last in Australia in 2024. I think we've been to Australia probably 12 or 13 times now,
Oh
actually.
wow. Oh
Yeah,
wow.
we've been a number of times. The first, excuse me, the first two times were January 1st of 1999. We came to Australia. To play the Australian Warp Tour that year. Came
Yeah.
back in September of that year to do a cross country tour with Frenzal Ram. And then I know we were back in 2001, 2003. We played the Livid Festival that was
Yeah.
running back then. And then we did three or four Soundwaves
Yeah,
with you
wow.
guys, plus some other tours. So we've been there quite a bit.
I guess I think the first time I saw you guys probably would have been 2017, I think, with Real Big Fish.
Yes, yeah, that's when we came and did a co-headlining thing with those guys, and they hadn't been to Australia since like '04 or something. It's
Yeah,
been
yeah,
so
it was a very, very long time since we'd seen them.
yeah.
What a great double bill that was. I remember it so well. It was such a fun night of ska punk. It's music that, as you sort of say, those early 2000s, there were so many great records coming out. And I mean, you guys, I mean, obviously, had, Hello Rockville out 25 years ago. And as a matter of fact, I mean, there's another anniversary this year too, which is Losing Streak, which turns 30.
Yeah, I know, and nobody had a crystal ball. I mean, when I was looking at guys my age back in the '90s, okay, they were like guys in the Stones and stuff, and like we all thought they were going to die at any moment back then, and here they are still going, and well, here we are now. We're at that age now, and there was no crystal ball to know if any of this was going to happen. Case in point, all the people that have followed us that have had kids, that have had grandchildren, these songs were part of their life growing up. So now they're passing it down, much like our parents did when we'd ride in the back of the car, or we'd go to, wherever, the songs playing on the over the PA at restaurants when you go out as kids or in shops and things like that. So, especially with all the festivals, how many, the festivals are amazing for a band like us. We go out, we're worth, 800 to 1,000 tickets, sometimes more in certain cities around the world. But the festivals, we have the opportunity to get up in front of 10, 15, 20, 30, 50, 60,000 people at any given time. And, over the years, that just kept snowballing. And here we are. We're able to still be doing this.
It's amazing. You talk about a time and a culture where festivals were so important to breaking and exposing a whole plethora of amazing artists. But also at the time that you guys started, there was something else that was very, very cool that was happening, which was video games, video game placement. My God, as somebody who was in their 20s, discovered a lot of music through you know, the video games we were playing. I mean, what was happening on Tony Hawk or, Grand Theft Auto, all of that sort of stuff. And I think it still happens today to a degree. But how important in, the structure of a career were those kinds of things for you?
They were all, at the time, I don't even know if we got paid for any of those. If we did, it was something small, like, hey, we'll license your song for $2,000 or whatever. I mean, you would get what is known as publishing from it, but
Yeah.
you did it for the exposure. No band was looking for a payday from that. And at the time, it was like, oh, cool, we're on this video game. It wasn't until 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years later that people all the time are like, I first heard you on Rock Band, or I heard you on Tony Hawk, or I heard you on this and that. And it's the gift that keeps on giving. It's kind of like those weird movie soundtracks we do in the 90s that, again, we just, well, we're throwing
Again,
a song on here and the movie would bomb and no one would care about it, or so we thought, till years later, man, I heard you on the Good Burger soundtrack, or I heard you on this movie.
it's funny how, you know, you talk about a lot of that sort of pop culture of the time too, and a lot of it takes 5-10 years for it to become pop culture classics and iconic things. And it's like scenes are tied to songs and songs are tied to scenes and stories. And I mean, what a wonderful time to be alive, you know. It was a changing of the guard as far as the way the industry was working too, and what a brilliant way to get yourself heard across platforms of, you know, I guess unwilling fans at that stage, but, you know, giving all of these giving you all of this exposure to ears that then went and went, I got to go buy this CD, or I've got to go and see these guys live, or they're playing in my town. How cool is this?
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know,
now we're seeing that with the TikToks and the reels and the Instagrams. There's stuff going viral. There's stuff that's going to happen to my band and other bands that we have no idea right now.
yeah,
There's things being created, the next TikTok or the next whatever, that we can't even imagine what that's going to be like. But you know, for every downside to some of that stuff, oh, we don't sell records anymore, people stream. For every downside, there's 10 upsides. I really believe that.
yeah.
You know, we had one foot in the analog world for a long time, and we kind of, you know, merged it with the digital world, and now we're merging it with what, you know, kids are into and things. And I things will come out and I'm like, I'm a 52-year-old guy, I really can't relate to this, but how can we use it for our band?
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly right. So, you know, this tour down under is called the Circus Down Under. You're joined by the Aquabats and and Detroit Suicide Machines. Do you have much of a touring history with either of these bands?
Oh gosh, yeah, Machines, we go back 30 years. They're one of the first ska punk bands that we became friends with. I had sent away, I think, for their demo tape. You know, it was a pretty small scene in the early 90s, ska punk
Yeah,
bands. We all kind of knew each other. Aquabats, I'm sad to say that we really haven't played with them until like the last 10 years. And over the course of the last 10 years, we've done a ton of shows together. We become great friends. Prior to that, it just seemed to be like we were on the opposite years of Warped Tour, so we would miss them there. And they took off a few years when Christian, the singer, was putting Yo Gabba and some of his shows that he does together. And yeah, happy to say the last 10 years we've done a bunch with them and become great friends as well.
yeah, fantastic. I mean, it's a great lineup. I mean, I'm super excited. It's just going to be a fun run of shows. Now, obviously, through all of your tours through Australia and all of your visits to Australia, what's the one highlight from Australia that sticks in your mind,
Oh my gosh.
or the one moment, or the one story?
Um, am I pronouncing it right? Woolongata?
Cool. Woolongata, yeah.
Woolongata, the beach. Yeah, the beach. Yeah.
Oh, Coolangatta.
Coolangatta. Thank you.
Coolangatta.
Coolangatta.
Yeah.
Yeah, we played a beach show there some years ago. God, who was that with? Can't remember who we played with, but I remember going out after the show, and it was on November 5th, because November 5th is not my real birthday, but November 5th is my Australian birthday. I had told the crowd it was my birthday that night. We went out to some venue, and I woke up to a cop poking me on the beach at about 7:30 in the morning. I don't remember falling asleep on the beach, still in my stage clothes.
Oh my God.
So, so yeah, that's a memory that sticks out.
Absolutely, that's the Aussie way. And I mean, coincidentally, you are actually playing in Sydney on your Aussie birthday again this year. So let's hope you wake up in a safer place, I guess.
No, I'm gonna wake up at my hotel in my my nightwear. I will not be in my stage clothes. Chances are I'll be up early with a coffee, and I'll
Yeah.
be pretty chipper. I would love to think I could still behave like I did in my late 20s, early 30s, but the body just revolts.
Absolutely, and it's just one of those things we need to face, I think, as people that are in their 50s these days. But as far as the tour's concerned, what can we expect from the set? Obviously, the last time was to celebrate an anniversary. This time around, what are the plans for the set?
You know, you have to kind of go out and play the songs that people want to hear. And the indoor venues, our own tours, the clubs and the theaters and whatnot, you can kind of get away with throwing the more obscure stuff in because those are your hardcore fans. At festivals, it's a little more paint by numbers, but we're gonna play the songs that people, our fans, have made hits. We never had like, oh, this was a hit at radio, but we had hits on Tony Hawk, and
Yeah,
we had hits on Street Skater. So you play those songs. You kind of think of, well, this song, we had a video for this one, or I remember, a lot of times I remember playing this in Australia or wherever, and this song went off. So you'll make sure that that's in the set. But we kind of just feel it out, and we have to have fun. I've always said that if I'm not having fun, how can I expect anybody else to have fun? And we don't like to phone it in. We never have. So it gets ridiculous. More jokes bomb than are successful during our show, and that's just the way it is.
absolutely. And I mean, that's the spirit of having fun. And I mean, from seeing you guys, as I said, in 2017, that's the infectious part of it. That's the part that connects. It's the human element.
Yeah, I love political punk bands. I love bands with a message, but our message has just been one of fun, and that's something that, especially in these times, man, the world's a pretty crazy place. There's a lot of angry people, and I don't want to be part of that. There's enough ugliness on social media. We don't get into it. I get out there, and I'd rather talk about how crappy my Euro was at the restaurant down the street. I don't want to bring anybody down.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Now, new music. I mean, we had Uncharted out in 2024. There's been a new single earlier this year, Scatter the Ashes. What's happening with Less Than Jake as far as new music's concerned?
So yeah, Scatter the Ashes was part of a 5-song session we did last December, and that was recorded in Gainesville, Florida, where the band is from. And Scatter the Ashes, we did 4 other songs, 2 of which are on a split with a Japanese band called Hey Smith. So Scatter the Ashes is on that split with them, which is going to coincide with our Japanese tour just before we get to Oz in October. And the other 2 songs that we recorded out of the 5, they are now on our European release, vinyl release for Uncharted, the EP that we put out in
Yes.
2024. So there'll be 2 more songs to the 7. So it will no longer be an EP; it'll now be an album, I guess.
Yeah, fantastic. Will we see copies of that vinyl out here in Australia as well as a part of these shows?
I hope so. I do not know the answer to that, but I haven't thought about it till just now. And when we have our next band discussion, which will be, I'm going to see the guys in 2 days for a show. I will definitely bring that up because I'd love to bring some down for the fans.
Fantastic. All right, Chris, we're pretty much out of time. Again, thank you for putting up with my horrible voice this morning and for taking time out. But the Circus Down Under tour kicks off in Perth on October 30, heads to Adelaide on October 31. Then you come to my hometown, Melbourne, on November the 2nd. You're in Sydney on the 5th, Brisbane the 6th, and then you head across the gap to New Zealand to Auckland for a show on the 7th. Chris, thank you personally from me for being, a soundtrack to a large chunk of my life. We talk about 34 years and we talk about how old we are now, and music that stays with you and bands that stay with you are really special. I just wanted to thank you and the guys for, being a part of my life soundtrack.
Well, thank you. It's not lost on me or the guys. Thank you very, very much. And I hope you feel better.
Absolutely. Look forward to seeing you in November here in Melbourne, Chris. Chris from Less Than Jake, thank you again, and travel safe. We'll see you in Australia, October, November.
Wonderful. Have a great day.
Thank you, Chris.
See you, mate.